So nervous.
Popping my drink. I am geared up and ready because Todd, this has been too long. We are now on episode 19 of the Sig Up Success series. Did you know that?
No, 19 out of how many?
Dude, there's like probably 80 of us. I'm behind.
Yeah,
It's hard to track you guys down.
Yeah.
Where are you at? Okay, so for those that don't know, I'm with the TODD White, Todd White, the original California, straight out of
Los
Orange
Angeles.
counties, Los Angeles,
Yeah, no, grew up in LA.
LA.
Yes,
It's
sir.
good to have you. It's been too long.
Yeah, man, sorry about the lighting in a hotel. Live my life on the road these days.
I know. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But for those that I took a little bit of a few month hiatus from tracking down my brothers. Todd has been one who's just hard to wrangle. He's busy, man. This guy is busy. And we're going to talk about that. But Todd, thank you. As you know, as I've expressed, this is an opportunity for me to play catch up because we haven't seen each other in a while. And there's other brothers that haven't seen you in a long while.
Yeah.
We're talking years, almost decades probably.
They still think I'm a handsome devil, so that's the good news.
Except now we're on video, so they'll know the truth. Well, hey, I want to just dive right into it. But again, Todd, I'm repping.
Oh, dude, that's my T-shirt. That's my company. I didn't even realize that. I was just sitting here thinking to myself, like, I mean, I see GuideCX day in and day out, and I didn't connect the dots. Oh, man, how amazing is that?
This is not sponsored by GuideCX, but if GuideCX would like to sponsor the show, there's opportunity. There's definitely opportunity. But hey, this is just a chance where I want to catch up because it's been a bit. We've talked a bit, but overall, like, there's a lot that's gone on in your life. And my goal is to share a little bit of this little life history, not only with the brothers that are from our decade, but also undergrads and undergrads that want to get into business, want to get into maybe graduate in accounting and then go on to do something completely different. You know, I want to kind of let them know what it's all about.
Yeah.
So Todd,
you know what else is amazing about that T-shirt is Bryce did all the printing on it.
That's right. It was made by a brother for a brother's business and given to another brother. So this is networking 101. When you join Sig Up, dude, you don't have to buy a wardrobe. Your wardrobe is just provided through the brotherhood. I know Bryce has jumped on and he's helping them out with the homecoming T-shirt.
Oh, that's cool.
So he's a good man. Well, hey Todd, let's talk a little bit about you. So obviously, it's been almost 20 years for us.
Yeah.
And you've been around the block. I know I caught you out in Florida a little bit, and I caught you. Mm-hmm. You're back in Utah, and you've kind of been around the block. Currently in Austin, but do this for me. Give me a quick synopsis of what you're doing. Like, what do you do now? Where do you live? Family.
Yeah. So 5 years ago, we started a company called GuideCX. It's a software company. I guess I can't take full credit of starting it. I'm the co-founder, so I don't want to take any credit from the man, myth, the legend, Mr. Peter Ord, who's a very good friend of mine. He started the whole thing, and then I jumped on as number two. So we do that. I run the sales team over there. Right now, we live in Cottonwood Heights in Utah, kind of right at the base of Big Cottonwood Canyon. So we've been there after we graduated, I moved back to LA, made my way down to Orange County. I was living in Huntington Beach for a while, got married down there. Then we moved to Florida. So I was in Florida selling software to car dealerships for about 5.5 years. Then I opened up the Puerto Rico territory, so I was in Puerto Rico for a while. Then the company moved me to Utah, and we've been here for about 8 years. My wife and I, we have 4 kids, 11, daughter, son is 9, and then I have twin girls that are 6.
Twin girls. What's their names again?
So it's Allie, Wes, Mia, and Shay. Yeah.
West, Mia, and Shay.
And the twins are just about like Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger. So that's
Just they're polar opposite, huh? It's been a long time because I think I don't. Last time I saw you, you were with the twins and they weren't doing so good. And they were sick when they were down here. That was
yeah.
4 years ago.
Yeah, about that.
I haven't seen
Yeah.
your kids for a bit, but
They're doing
okay.
good now.
Well, hey, let's dive into why you ended up at Utah State. I honestly don't know why you ended up at Utah State. How did you get
Me
there?
neither. Yeah. My brother actually went to Utah State. And so I decided that I'd give it a shot. He loved it up there. And, he had nothing negative to say. So freshman year came around. My parents wanted me to go up to Utah State as well, too. And so I did it. Yeah, took the jump, made it happen. I didn't even try to get into BYU. Didn't apply for that. But on the grid of entrance exams for Utah State, I knew it was a slam dunk. So there we go.
You filled out the paper. You're in.
I did. Yeah, my scores are high enough. So
Very good. So it's because of more of a legacy. Your family kind of encouraged you to go there.
yeah, my mom grew up in Brigham City, so
Okay.
there's connections that are there.
Very good. When you jumped in, you graduated with a bachelor's in accounting. Did you start school knowing you were going into accounting?
Yeah, so fair question. Started not knowing really kind of which direction I was going to go. I've got an uncle that was pushing me to do medical or to do dental, so I was kind of thinking maybe I'd do that. Ended up kind of doing kind of general classes. Science was not my deal, and ended up. I've got a brother-in-law who was in the accounting world. Math makes sense to me. It was a lot easier for me to write the number 4 because there's only one way to do it versus spell the number 4, and there's probably 3 or 4 ways to do that. So I went the math route and went the accounting route. Luckily for me, it wasn't unbelievably difficult to go the math route. So I did that and graduated in accounting with a tax emphasis.
Very nice. And Frank Schumann.
Yeah.
I was talking
Frank,
to a
man,
couple.
I'm going back up to speak to Utah State here in November. So
Are
he
you
has to
really?
come back. Yeah, I went back up last year, spoke to the accounting school, and so now they asked me to come back this year, so I'll be back up there.
Very good. Very good. So yeah, you went from accounting, but you didn't do accounting. We're going to get into post graduation in just a second. What in college?
Yeah.
Tell us, because I'm trying to remember how you ended up connecting to SIGEP, and what was your thoughts of fraternities at the time?
Yeah, so fair question. Went up as my freshman year, made a couple of buddies. I didn't live in the dorms. I lived in Richards Halls, so I guess it was somewhat of a dorm situation. Made some buddies, with that crew. We all left. We all went on missions. Came back, and at that point, kind of spread out. I went a little bit later than those guys, so they all kind of came back before me, and we're all living together. And I ended up living with my brother and a couple of his friends, Tony Wynn being one of them. And when I was there, it was just kind of like, I know there's more to college than just going to class, hitting the gym every once in a while, kind of doing this, just doing that bit. And in high school, I had a very close set of friends. To this day, I still talk to a couple of them on a very regular basis. I mean, like weekly situation. And so, I thought, you know what, like there's got to be some sort of organization that I could join that could get that, I guess, need in my life and get me more involved into the school. I remember like going to a couple of the basketball games and the football games, and you kind of sit up there in the stands, and then you're there with two or three buddies, and then you'd see like a crew of people that were they're through and through. They're having a good time. There was 20, 30, 40 of them all stacked together. They all came together, had fun together, left together, wore the same stuff. And I thought to myself, like that's more of the life that I enjoy, is having some set of like a crew, almost, if you will. And I didn't really know where to look to. Accounting class was not the answer. I can tell you that. And so it ended up kind of as fate would have it. I ran into Bryce Cranny, and silly enough, we were both kind of, and I think he told this story as well too. And I'm sure the stories will be close enough where it's not a complete lie at this point. But we were ended up both trying to um, date these girls, and we ended up together in I want to say it was across from Old Farm, Corner Canyon or Corner something like that. There was a gas station at that place. Anyways, there was a jacuzzi there, and we were both hanging out. And
Pineview.
What was it?
You talking Pineview?
No, it was in between them. It was
Okay.
like it was over there, and ended up talking to Bryce when we were there and laughing and having fun, and he said, "Oh, you should check out somehow, some way, shape, or form, Sagat came up." And I was like, "Oh, I've been talking to some of these guys." And he was like, "Really? I'm talking to some of these guys." And then we ended up going to the thing together, and ended up becoming, best of friends. And he actually became my best man. And he's one of the people that, right, I still talk to on a very regular. I just went on vacation with Bryce and his wife. It was amazing. So, yeah.
Oh, nice. Where'd you guys go?
Not me, Bryce, and his wife. My wife came too, just to clarify.
Well, no, yeah, it was going to be awkward, but hey, who am I to judge?
Yeah. So, yeah. And then through that, right, met the rest of the crew. And so, yeah.
So in lieu of that, I'm going to go ahead and just, I'm going to share this because you're sharing this. You're talking about this story. You see that?
Yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, man. That's the old basketball game there with the flag. It looks like Bryce is there. I got the old flamingo.
Flamingo.
The half backwards waving the flag.
I gotta say, we definitely dominated in the front row game.
Oh, it was amazing.
Oftentimes it would be you, Bryce, and the crew on that side, and then you'd pivot and you'd have if that one wasn't available, you'd be on the other side with us.
Right. I mean, the reality is that's what makes college fun.
Those were the best. Front row, harassing the other team.
Yeah.
In a respectable manner.
Learn. Everything I learned in school, I learned to get on the street. So
that's right. So share with us. You joined SIGEP.
Yeah.
Was your dad? You're from Orange County. Did your dad ever?
I'm from LA.
Or LA, yeah. So completely different. I'm sorry. Yeah, LA, Orange County.
Yeah.
Whole different side. Yeah.
No, my parents weren't involved in any way, shape, or form. My brother wasn't either. The stars just aligned, and you start to meet good people, and you tell yourself, who do I want to associate with? Right. I'm a believer that you become the average of the 5 people that you hang out most with. And I thought to myself, this was an amazing set of people. Like, why wouldn't I want to be involved with the movement, with the crowd? And so I said, yeah, like I'm all in, and never looked back. It was an amazing decision.
Awesome. It's funny you bring that up. You're the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with. And I recently just vented to you that since COVID almost, and I work from home, and my 5 sum of people are my 11-year-old, my 9-year-old, my 6-year-old, my wife, and I
Yeah.
feel like my bubble is like I'm just
That's
I
awesome.
need that bubble to get bigger again. Need to get back out there. So I'm lucky enough to get to touch base with you. So with SIGAP, why you talk about you and Bryce, you wanted some type of a brotherhood, you wanted a type of camaraderie, college experience. Share with us any stories or any experiences that might stand out to you. And if
Yeah.
not, I've got a picture I might share.
No, I mean, it's like you look back and you start to think about what were the standout moments in university life. And you think about when we would go to, like I said, the games together. You think about when we'd all go grab dinners together beforehand. We'd all go meet up at Doc's house, and then we'd go to try to, eat, clean the sink. You think about the service projects that we do, like the race that we did. I think it was called the Balance Man Triathlon, if you will.
So that's the
Think about,
picture I wanted to show you in your swimsuit flexing, and I
oh
cannot for the
man,
life of me find it.
I still got it too.
Ah, you're
Um,
right though.
you think about things like the, just the housing, right? Living together. You think about things like when we would go. Oh, it's just just the tip of my tongue. We go on like the retreats that we did, right? One year we went up to Bear Lake. One year we went to the Cranny Farms. Um, yeah, I mean, those are just the memories that you can never forget, right? And I'm forever grateful that I had that, and I honestly think without that set of people that are trying to do stuff together, then stuff like that would have never happened, right? You talk to other people that went to college and they miss out on those type of experiences. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. The retreats, the get just the spending, and recently, yeah, I'm with you in the sense of like it's those overnight experiences, it's the long hours dealing with being dumb, but also spending a lot of intimate time discussing things, right? You lived with Bryce, you lived with other guys, you lived with me for a period,
yeah,
and I truly honor you as a brother in the sense of like business. I've come to you and I've asked things, and I love you know getting together with you often. Uh,
no, yeah. I mean that's part of like I don't talk to people outside of the SIGAP folks outside of college. Like those are the only people that I talk to,
yeah,
and
this is
yeah,
remember that this was me chasing you down in Florida.
yeah, man, yeah. I was just a little skinnier back then.
Troy Holland right there,
Yeah,
another
good
brother.
stud, man. What a
Um,
champion.
yeah. But those are the things. It's like not only college, we have those experiences, but those experiences have gone for decades since.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
and you think about like I moved up to Utah State from LA, right? I had my brother that was up there, yeah, but my brother ended up getting married. He was doing his own deal, so it's not like I was hanging out with my brother all the time. I didn't have high school friends. I didn't really have family that was there. I didn't have a network of people that I would consider my closest camaraderies. I think that the vernacular of brother is one of the most appropriate terms that can be used when describing this set of people. And I didn't have that. And that's something that I think is a key to success in life is having that network, that set of people. And without it, I don't think I would have been as successful. So
yeah. Could you? And again, this puts you on the spot a bit, but do you feel that there's like a specific thing that you could almost say because of SIGEP, this was something I gained that has helped me in today's life experiences?
um, off the top of my head, I have to think about that to give like a legitimate, reason versus just something
Can I
that's
give you two?
kind of lame. Yeah, for sure.
So it's the simple little networks, right? The simple little connections of like, even today, yeah, Bryce has a business that's helping you and vice versa. You're helping Bryce, and that's been a long-term benefit. But you brought up something from my knowledge, you're the only brother who has come out and said, I got my job because I was a SIG or at least an internship? Or how does that go? Am I correct? Am I correct in stating that?
Um, mm.
It was accounting. It was because you were going in for an accounting internship.
Oh, I did have an accounting internship up there.
And you had mentioned you're Greek. Am I making this up? Maybe I'm
No,
making this up.
probably not. Probably
I,
not.
s-
I just
I swear it was
I've been hit in the
you.
head too many times to remember all the details.
If I remember correctly, it was because you were just graduating from with an accounting degree. And
Uh,
where did you go right after school? You got an internship where?
yeah, so I got an internship at Deloitte.
Deloitte.
Um, so I was working at Deloitte, and then
Do you
when I
remember the
ended
interview process?
up, um,
I'm putting you on
there-
the spot because I
there-
remember this, and I
yeah,
was so impressed because you came back and you're like, dude, I had mentioned I was Greek or Sigep, and literally they said, well, we know then you can carry a load of and be serious and you have all these extra qualities.
I take your
Anyways,
word for it, man.
you believe me, believe me. That's
I
I
believe
remember
you.
you saying that. And I was like,
Yeah,
well, shoot,
I
maybe
believe you. I'm
I need
embarrassed.
to
I'm just gonna say yes. I remember it's clear as day.
please.
So
Well, I do remember you saying that because it was
yeah,
I was graduating the next year, and I'm like, dude, I need to put I for some reason I never really put Greek like that on my resume, and I don't. But I remember your experience. I actually went and I rewrote my resume, and I specifically said, hey,
no,
oh
it's
shoot, I
awesome.
was VP of programming, and I was this,
Yeah,
and I did this, and I remember because of
that
Todd
matters,
White.
man. I mean, it
Yeah,
matters.
it does.
There's nothing that matters more in life than a network. I can tell you that. It's just, yeah, a network will
Yeah,
take you further than anything will. I could give you crazy stories about networking through life, through business, and without that, yeah, and when I actually go back and I talk to the people at Utah State in the accounting class, like that's one of the biggest things that I talk about is the value of
yeah.
network.
Well, so then let's pivot. You graduated in accounting. You went to Deloitte, did an
Yep,
internship.
yep.
Where did you go after that? What was the next? Give us the next quick 10
Yeah,
years
so I came
synopsis.
back. I was going to do a master's of accounting, and in the interim process, I ended up doing an interview with actually my dad's old boss in LA at Cigna Healthcare, and she was on the sales side, so she convinced me to not go back and to take the job with her at Cigna Healthcare. So I jumped on and ended up going to selling insurance, and the division that I was in was actually I was in way over my head. I was doing what they called at the time national accounts. So companies that were 5,000 plus employees, I was kind of the right hand of the main outside salesperson. So I did that for a solid 3 years, 3.5 years. And it got to the point where I wanted to be the front person. I didn't want to just be the right hand. And so I needed to go through the process of kind of starting in the lower markets and climbing back up. And I was living in Huntington Beach at the time, working crazy hours, and ended up saying, hey, like, I don't know if this is the life for me. Was getting about ready to get married, and the position that they had accepted me for was actually up in San Francisco area, and I was going to move to Walnut Creek, California. And I just never really felt like that was the right thing for me, and ended up getting connected to a crew down here through a network. Got connected to a crew down in Orange County, a small little company called Dealer Socket, which was a software company and that sold a CRM, so a customer relationship management tool, to car dealerships. And so I was like, what do I got to lose? So I started a little, I jumped on with those guys. There was about 60 employees at the time, and ended up, we grew that thing to about 1,500 or so. And then we, the guy that brought me into the company's name was Peter Ord, and that was the guy that left and said, "Hey, we're going to solve one of the biggest problems that we have at Dealer Socket, which was how do we get the dealers to run through the implementation in a clean manner?" And so he said, "Hey, I got a solution, right? We can take project management, we can make it external facing, we can engage clients into it. Now we can get everybody working off the same sheet of music, and we can create almost like an Amazon type delivery experience for software." And I said, "Great, like why don't you go jump and see how that goes?" And so he left Dealer Socket. He started a prototype. 5 or 6 months later, I was ready to leave that company after 10 years, and I said, "What do we got to lose?" Right? I guess a lot to lose,
A
but
lot.
whatever. I was confident in myself. If I could sell Dealer Socket, I knew I could sell pretty much anything that was out there. And so I jumped on with him, and we've been grinding for 5 years now. So yeah,
And you're back in Utah.
yeah. The Dealer Socket moved me from Florida to Utah. Yeah.
Oh, so you were here before you started?
Yeah, I was selling CRM to franchise car dealerships, so like Toyotas, crazy stories working in and out of every dealership in Florida, every dealership in Puerto Rico. I've seen wild things to the point where, right, I rolled into the number one. One of my customers was a company called Prestige Imports. It was the number one Lamborghini dealership in the United States, number one Audi store right next to it. Anyways, they got one of the first allocations of Bugattis when I was out there, and so I rolled up to the store, and the news crew was all there, and the guy who owned the store, right, his name was Brett, super cool guy, came up to me and was like, "Hey, dude, like I just got a Bugatti, man. This thing's legit." So he walked me around the Bugatti. It was totally cool. Like, anyways, kind of some cool stories. But
with all your experience, have you ever got into cars? Are you a car head or no gearhead?
Yeah. I'm more of a classic car guy.
Yeah.
So I don't need to drive fast. I just need to drive in style. I'm built for comfort, not for speed.
So here, I'll pull the covers off. What do you drive today?
Oh man, I drive a GMC. Yeah.
So it's all dreams.
I drive.
When you retire. When you retire.
When I retire. No, 59 Suburban, man. That's the dream car. That thing's gonna happen,
dude.
So
59 Suburban. My 83 Suburban was the best. That thing was a tank.
Yeah.
Hand me down. Brown. Brown, we call it cow.
So
so so you are now the co-founder of GuideCX.
Yep.
And what do you do? Are you still out selling? Are you all management now?
No, so good question. I still run the sales team, and I've got a set of employees, right? I've got a team of account executives. I got a team of cold callers. I've got some sales managers. I got my sales ops crew. Standard software sales, right? Organization. We've got 100 employees at the company, but I still like to be hand-to-hand combat, so I still get involved with any deal that we consider like as an enterprise opportunity. I still jump in to those deals, and so that's been a fun, right? You can't take me out of the deal level, so yeah.
You love to get your hands dirty.
Yeah, still work the deals, so it's been fun.
Did you ever do door-to-door sales?
Yeah, I sold pest control.
Pest control,
like everybody else.
Yeah, no. See, I did living scriptures.
Yeah.
What do you love about what you're doing right now?
That's a good question. So it's actually one of the number one things that when I interview people, they ask me, and the reality is, you end up spending a massive amounts of time with the people that you work with. And going back to the initial thing of like when you ask like why join SIGAP, it's because of the people. I mean that's the real reason. And one of the things about being in the chair that I sit in is I get to have a lot of say of the people that I get to work with, and it matters to me a lot. So that, like, I love the people, right, that I work with. When I had my 40th birthday party, 18 out of the 20 people were people that I work with. Like that's how we are a very close organization. And the so that's one of it. Um, the second piece of it is I actually do believe in the product. I believe that we do help people, and that makes it enjoyable to go to work. Another piece of it is I enjoy the aspect of selling. And so I've done a couple of different things where I've been asked to run customer success teams. I've been involved with revenue operations, but at the end of the day, like I enjoy the aspect of selling. I like the process of it. So you can't take me away from it. And yeah, I love it.
So you dare say you like the art of the deal?
Bingo.
No, I get it, man. Sales is you got to you got to have some thick skin, and that's
Mhm.
something that I would say not a lot of people have. Like I think
It's a
because
game for me. It's a
yeah,
game. Every day's a game.
like
It
you
was
got to
brutal hand
break
to
down
hand.
walls.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it was brutal hand-to-hand combat in the dealer world. Like we're selling to car dealerships, we're selling to the ultimate salespeople, and the negotiations that we do with these guys were just it was a grind, right? I was down in Florida, I was down in a super aggressive market, and I loved it. You can't take me out of doing the dog and pony show. So
so even though now you're co-owner, VP, you just get your hands dirty and you're
Mhm.
right there side by side with your team.
Yep.
That's cool. That is something I would say SIGEP, if I can kind of take a little bit of what you've said, it's molded me. My favorite times is with my teams, right? Then I worked in Alaska, my team, and my past company with my team. It's you mold your team and you trust them. You lean on them, and that was very much with SIGEP. We're throwing events. We're throwing a service project. You expect guys to show up. You expect
Sure.
people to help because if anybody's by themselves, it sucks.
Yeah.
And that equals very much or comes to the real world, right? What we
Nah,
saw
for
in
sure.
college, it really much equates to the real world and the grind. What do you hate about your job? What your industry? Let's talk because you're in software, right? Tech, software. What do you not like about your job per se? But then also, what do you not like about your industry? Because I want this to be also for the undergrads if they want to get into tech software sales, and what would you say? Watch out for because it drives you nuts, and also what don't you like in general?
Yeah. I mean, the reality is like every organization has issues, and you start to realize that. It's just a matter of how big that issue is. And you've got to be able to kind of deal with heat. Like that always sucks, right? Putting deals together, you tell people it's going to work and you try your best not to oversell people because when you do, it just comes back to just absolutely crush
Don't
you.
ever over promise, under deliver. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that was a big reason why I left my last company is because what happens sometimes in the software business is it's a grow at all cost. That's a piece of it, and you're forced to sell things that aren't like that don't really work that well, and that becomes unbelievably difficult. And so it got to the point in my last company, right? We acquired three different companies. You try to mesh them together. The ideal product is going to be that all these products integrate together, they sync together. This data pushes over here, and in reality, it didn't do that. But I had to go sing that song to the dealers and I couldn't do it anymore. So for the first 8 years, it was amazing, and then the last 2 years of it, I just could not like it was brutal, and I knew I'd put the deal together. I knew that it wasn't going to work, but you got to make a paycheck. Like if you don't sell, you're going to get cut, and I was running a team at that time of 10 people. And, you'd get there and you'd put the deal together, and then the dealer would call you and they'd be like, oh, like, this is horrible. And that's why, like, a big reason why, right, where I love the product that I'm at right now is because it works. Like, it solves a problem for people. And I don't get like hate mail. I don't get hate mails from people. So, yeah. And I mean, and in the tech world, right? Like, that's all I've sold. Well, I mean, I'd sold insurance for a little bit, but I was more like the gopher. Outside of that, right? I sold tech. And I'm not the most technical guy in the world. The whole like joke of the company is everyone calls me Technical Todd because of these like calling the big guy tiny. So, but you can get through it. Like, if you're a good storyteller, right, you can tell the story of anything. I'm a believer that storytellers rule the world, and so we tell a really good story, and then if I need to recruit more people to get into the technical weeds, right, they can go speak computers to each other and have fun doing that stuff. But yeah, and the reality is, right, in software, people always want more. If you go and you sell a product, the product is what it is, right? If I sell a car, it's got certain buttons and it's got certain things, and it goes from here to here. But lots of times, right, in software, people want it to do a lot of different stuff. And sometimes you don't have buttons to do that stuff, and you got to find workarounds. And you're constantly finding workarounds in every aspect of software that you sell. And luckily for us, like we're good at that.
So believe in your team, trust your team. That's awesome. So let's talk about what's next for Todd White. If in the next, where do you see yourself in the next like 5 years and the next 10 years?
That's a big question. In software sales.
You want
Yeah.
to stay it?
Yeah, I'll be in software sales for sure.
Still
I'm good for nothing else. I gave up on my modeling career. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, what if I
I'll do
told you
software
if
sales.
I could wave a magic wand and give you all the money in the world? Money wasn't an issue anymore. What would you do? What would you do to fill your time? Are you gonna keep selling software?
Yeah, I'd sell a dream and a vision to everybody. No, I don't know. I mean, yeah, obviously, right? I take time off, right? I'd go offshore fishing. I'd tell you that much. Um, I'd be doing a whole lot more offshore fishing. Makes it difficult living in Florida. Or when I was living in Florida, it was amazing. Even when I
Yeah.
was living in California, to go offshore, that was great. I just went down to Guatemala, which was amazing. That was the best
Oh,
fishing I've
nice.
ever gone. So if anybody's looking to go offshore fishing, Guatemala is the place to go.
The Gulf side or the Pacific side?
Pacific, yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
But yeah, no, that'd be a good question. I'd probably just be mentoring people. I'd probably go back to some college and try to teach people. Um,
Well, because
it'd
that's
be
I
cool to
think
be a It'd be cool to be a
you,
professional speaker. I'll tell you that much. But
you're a driven individual, and so it's like I do wonder like what's your why? You're talking about software sales. You see yourself 5 years, 10 years, you're doing software sales, but is it? Yeah. What's the nugget that keeps you going?
yeah, part of it is I'm coin operated, man. So keep feeding the machine with dollar bills, and I'm gonna keep working hard. Um, a piece of me is I want to be on the leaderboard. Like when I was on the street selling software, like you cannot keep me from my eyes off that leaderboard. So that's a piece of it, right? I'm just a competitive person in nature. Like I want to win. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Like I like working. I don't know what to tell you. Like it to me, it's fun. I'd probably be coaching my kids though. That's fun too.
Very good. Um, Finishing this up. If you can look back and tell your 19-year-old Todd White self, hey, focus on this, learn this, maybe speed the clock up a little bit. What is one piece of advice you'd tell the undergrads?
So, um, I've kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier before. You have to be cool to everybody. The number one thing that's going to stop yourself from progressing is burning bridges, because then you just end up being in an island by yourself. And I can't give more advice other than be cool to everybody.
I appreciate that. And it's something that the world needs more and more today.
I mean, small things. You go to people, and I mean, you learn this in the world of sales, that the receptionist is somebody that you're cool with because she can get you indoors. You learn that the person that's you learn that the janitor, you be cool to the janitor, and next thing you know, you forget your keys, something like that, and you can go get the janitor, and they can help you out and get you in. Um, like I could go on stories after story after story about how when you're cool to people, they can come back around, and when you need somebody, right, they can help you out, and you'll never know when you're going to need that. Even to the point where the receptionist down at the front desk of the hotel, right, she hooks me up with all sorts of stuff just because I'm cool to her. Like, I mean, it's just like my wife
It's
is always saying, like, "What, you get
it's
so
not
much stuff for free?" I'm like, "Yeah, because people are nice."
it's not that wink you had at the beginning and a little bat in your eyes. I get it. I get
I used to be cool to
it.
people, man.
So
Yeah,
you are currently, just so the listeners know, currently in Austin, Texas right now.
yeah,
You're speaking at a conference tomorrow. What's it?
yep,
What's the conference on?
yeah. No, it's one of our partner companies. It's a company
Okay.
called GuideCX. I'll be working with their sales team. So
Very good. Well, Todd, what's one lastly, finally, let's kind of wrap it into this. What is something you want to say to your alumni brothers that you haven't seen in 15 plus years?
yeah, I live in Salt Lake, man. Here to help anybody. If you need something, my office is down in Lehigh. Would love to see anybody. If anybody's game, yeah, hit me up. We'd love to reconnect.
Okay. So deep sea fishing, that's you. What about inland sports? Anything inland? You
Yeah, I
gotten into
started playing
mountain?
hockey again.
You will get, are you really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dude, I
So
want to put
that's
on
been
my,
fun. I played the
I had,
Olympic Oval. That's been awesome.
that's awesome. Put on my rollerblades a couple
Yeah, you
months
bet.
back. It was fantastic. But I also realized, man, I'm probably
Man,
more
I look like a
fragile,
moron.
a lot more fragile. I hurt differently now. No,
It's awesome.
Todd, love you,
Yeah.
brother.
Oh man.
I really appreciate you. Just give me some time touching base. I need to get back up there, and we need to get together, wives and family. And um, I know we've discussed trying to get some more family groups together. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Would love to.
Okay.
All
Well,
right, brother.
again, any undergrads wanting to go into tech sales or graduate in accounting and do something completely different, Todd's your man. Reach out to him if you need to.
Happy to help.
Um, and then he'll be up on campus.
Yeah.
Shows up once a
November.
year.
Yeah, I can't remember what November 16th or something like that, I think. But
Okay. All right. Well, get some
cool.
sleep. Gear up for tomorrow. Best of
Yeah,
luck.
brother.
Love ya.
All righty. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.